Morning, सबको मेरा नमस्कार. This is International Master and FIDE Senior Trainer Sekhar Sahu welcomes you on behalf of Sports Authority of Gujarat and Gujarat State Chess Association to this intermediate training session. Hello, Veerabhadra Singh, Suresh Bhai Chawda, Parvat Thakkar, Meher Chaudhary, and Subankar Sarkar. Let's continue with Tal. First, I present to you Tal versus Trifunovic, 1966. This ending is very interesting. Now, after the move black played BD7, black is paralyzed. I mean, there is no coordination. Rook is not functioning. So if he plays BB7 anyway, he will lose a pawn. So he gives to maintain the H pawn. So check and now takes it. How should white play now? White played. You have to now stop the pawn. The threat is pawn push. So you have to. This is passive move. Passive move. Then counter play will come. If you play rook H4, so stops. I think this is not the best move, but it is difficult to suggest. The position is already difficult. White plan is simple. After the move rook d2, then king s2, he will enter the rook to d6. So black wants to exchange as quickly as possible one pawn to have more drawing chances. So I present to you this question: how should white play now? Yes, Veerabhadra, third time, but all the I mean the players who are watching, the students, they have not seen this. So there is no harm in this repetition because at least 50% players have not seen. I did it in Bodakdev, I did it in some previous lecture, but let me see. Now you do not, you know the answer. So Veerabhadra, don't tell, let others see. I want to see how many give the correct answer. How many give correct answer? Hello, Kribya Parmar and Keshav Shah. This shows that not how many are giving answer. So it is good to present because you must know the theme. In this end game, there are two themes are there. So it is really worth it to see once again. So there is no answer yet. One more minute. White to play and win. Good morning on the side. Please find out one. I want to at least one answer. Yeah, the correct move. Bishop king into pawn loses to bishop check. Bishop check and winning easily. So the only move check. Only move. You cannot go down. The bishop and pawn ending is lost. Go down it is bad. So only move. Now it is necessary. Again, the idea of white is to play pawn b5. This is the threat. So he stops that. Now what should white do? Now what should white do? Black has stopped white's plan of b5 because pressure on c5. No, not f5. No, very important thing. Not f5, not f5 or b2. The point is, the many times this theme comes in many endgames. At least 50% of endgame, at least that convert the position to a king pawn endgame. Convert the position to a winning king pawn endgame. Now the threat was pawn push. The pawn push. So he stopped. But anyway, pawn push. Rook takes pawn. Now you have to stop. There is no other way. Now pawn into. You have to stop. Bishop takes. Now if you give checks, no, this will not work. You give check, the king will come. I mean, the king will come like this. So there is no point. So he gives, takes, and now bishop takes winning. The king pawn endgame. Please make a note that converting many position to winning king pawn endgame. It comes often. It is so important theme. Just you need to know various themes. Keep in mind. It should come spontaneously. It should come automatically in your mind. You don't have to say search which theme. When you analyze, when you get a feeling for position, then automatically it comes theme in your mind. So this is winning now. Now it is hasty to exchange because now you must improve the king before you enter the king pawn endgame. Improve the king to come to g4. A good move. And now take king winning. Now king pawn endgame is this is winning. So there are two important things that playing actively. It is one by playing e6. Okay, this is not an easy move, not an easy move. E6 is a brilliant move. But a player should always look for this kind of possibility. Pawn push and completely liquidating the position, winning king pawn and king. And here, king into e6 also loses the end game. Okay. Normally, the Alekhine defense d4 is a good. Now, the standard move. Now here, knight f3, bishop g4, b2. White gets a small plus in opening because space and better center. Little better for white. The other alternative, he can go for g6. This second variation. This is also white is better. After the move bishop c4, white stands better. But apart from the move, this is also a modern treatment that getting whatever you get in the opening stage at tempo, it is playable. It is playable. Now, it is bad to go passively. Knight d6 is a passive move. This is passive move. The correct move is to capture the knight. This is the best way to play. Okay, let's see. This is a bad move because black was suddenly taken away from the main line, so he plays a bad move. Now, why then e6? He could have played d6. Now f4 should maintain the center. Naturally, will not lose castle chance. A critical moment. He wants to exchange lot of pieces. Bishop into bishop, queen into queen, king into. But there is no problem. Even the endgame is superior. White can play for a win, even if the queens are exchanged. So, bishop d3. Now, after bishop into bishop, uh, now queen into queen exchange, knight. This is also little better for white. You can maintain the queen and play also. So knight into pawn is not the best at the moment. Knight c4 will come. And if you play knight takes, black takes knight into pawn, knight c4 and nd6 check gives problem to black. So he comes over to capture the pawn. Now it is a critical moment. We have reached a critical moment. What should white do now? Yeah, yeah. It is like poison pawn, but poison pawn position this is not so much open. This is worse. In poison pawn, black has counterplay. Here pieces are exchanged. So this is worse than that. But what to do now? The pawn is attacked. What will you do? Let me tell you now. You should have one should have confidence in chess, self confidence. When you evaluate the position, it is very easy. The king, white is much superior. The king side space, there is no guard near the black king if he castles. Center is better. at the king position. Everything is good for white. There is only at the moment the pawn is under attack. So the position is bad. That means it is winning. All you have to find a plan to execute your advantage. No, no, no. Queen h5 not correct move. Not the correct move. Queen h5 it is not the best move. You can give queen into pawn check also. So it is not the best move. He is not going to castle there. He will give a check. Queen takes pawn, check, and maybe knight into pawn. No, not NB3. No, no. Some simple moves. Basically, we need to get a feel for. We know all of us. We understand white is much much better. You do not have to be in a hurry. I told you when you are attacking or you are defending. Do not get panic. Do not get hurry. We are given average 3 minutes per move. So just find a simple plan. What Tal did, King H1. No, you don't have to. We want to attack. Every move is $1 million in chess. So let us. Tal played here. Fine move, rook. Now no queen check. And after knight into pawn, knight e4 is crossing. See, no check is possible. And now queen knight into pawn, knight e4 will be winning quickly. Castle is ruled out. So improving the piece position, the knight b3 is not good because you are away from the attack on the king. Your knight should go king side. So rook f4. Fantastic move. Very well played. Misa Tal. I think this is anyway he is getting crushed. The next move, white will play RB1. Next move RB1 and RB3. So he cannot wait for the rook coming to attack. So he castle, but then king h1. Actually, there is no need, but anyway, very prophylactic. No good move. There is no good move now. For example, now this is a threat, and in case you take, then check. Now knight e4 is coming. Whether you take with queen or whether you take with knight, knight, rook, decentralize the queen. Point is here, I want the rook to be active. Maximum activity for radius for your pieces. Rook. Now, even the rook is ready. Even the rook is ready to come on the third rank. And the anyway check is there. This radius, this check. Everything is working. Everything, all white pieces are in action. Mate, mate, it is leading to mate. Now, there are so many ways to win. RB3 will win, Queen C1 will win. Anything is winning. So, Queen C1. No defense. Cannot defend. Okay. So here, this is a lovely way. You need to find correct. I mean, same position you give to another player, they will play differently. But Channelizing places right in time. I think the position is hopeless. He cannot do anything. Fantastic move. The position, the whole concept is bad, but very nicely played by Tal. After this, it's all over. Let us say another Alakhain. This is a better attacking center, so F4 has to be played. Natural, you can't play D4 right now, F4. Maybe this is a poor move, not a good move. Simple. Now there is no threat because bishop into knight, bishop into the queen is attacked. So there is no threat. Still, you cannot win the pawn because the b pawn is falling, uncastled king. Bishop into knight still not working. So notice now the style of the player. Many players, if you give the position, 90% player will play c3 or b3. They will either play b3 or c3 and then continue. But Tal playing very actively. Giving the pawn with check. Queen takes pawn check will not help. Queen exchange and piece gone. So bishop into and now still now queen takes pawn. He will end up in development. Threat on f7, threat on b7. And if you play knight into pawn, then queen will come to e4. I mean threats are maintained. So you cannot play. So on this position, he plays now c3. White has huge lead in open line, center, and development. Last position. Okay, let's see. Necessary. You cannot castle there. There is a lot of problem after castle. Okay, so a bad move. It is just like that. Actually, its position is anyway bad. But why weaken the king side? He could have played here. It is possible that a player move like castle is okay, though it is bad position. He could have played here move like knight come. No, knight cannot come because queen f3 is coming. The position is already bad, I would say. But this is terrible. How to react to such a position? Hello, Tirtha Saha. Welcome. How to react such bad moves? What should White do now? Please find out. Yeah. What should you do as White? Employ the pieces in the best possible squares, giving maximum mobility. So the bishop belongs here now. So quickly return to c1. Now there is a threat. Now he finds another beautiful plan. Now if you play mechanically bishop here, he may still survive. There is no apparent plan easily coming. He will play rook coming to c8 and fight. So very beautifully played by Tal. c4, c5, and now c6. What a move! What a great move! Yeah, yeah. Actually, I am the annotator. I will tell you, I will tell you, Veerbhadra, these are all my comments. I was writing some article long back on Tal, and these are all my comments. All these are my comments. So, this is all good. Coffee house move. Notes written by me only. Okay. So, here, this is whole point is fantastic. Hello, Adi Jain. Uh, Many of this I have only commented some of the games of Tal, but not in. I have not given to any magazine or any book. I just wrote. I was writing an article. Not now, maybe few years back. So now C4, C5 tempo, and C6. What I move? Open the B file for operation. Now the king is gone. It is gone now because the bishop is watching the square and the rook is ready here. So it is gone. The position is lost position. The position is lost. The king position is gone. He will just double the rooks on the B line. He will place the bishop now. Now he will place the bishop here and double the rooks on the B file. It's all over. Just double the rooks. Threat queen check, queen B8, G8 check. So rook A8 is under attack, finishing the game in grand style. The rook is protected, but temporarily took into hand. I think it should resign now. This is all over. Okay. So, but anyway, this line is, I will tell you what is the correct way to play against this. Here, knight into knight is okay, but not this. I would prefer to play d5. This is better. I mean, after e5, a sort of French position has come without e6. So I would rather prefer d5 directly if I'm playing black. For example, a modern game I'll show Zaginja versus somebody. Zaginja versus Sanchenko. Okay, black is playing reasonable good moves. Tempo, not good now. The position is white is already better, but this is not a good move. Ignoring, look, notice he is ignoring the a2 pawn. If queen takes pawn, then bishop g5 with a lot of threats. Rook a1 threat, okay, rb5 threat. Good move with a pawn. Now c4 is threat plus plus minus, I would say. So this na5 was a bad move, but I would rather prefer here. This is on e5 and d5 take and direct d5. This is interesting move. Okay, so I would leave this line. Next, going to next game of top. Yeah, you see that somebody, I think I don't know who wrote, asked all that how you get attacks and so quickly. He said very simple. I castle and bring my rooks to center and sacrifice. Instead of telling I get a grip on center. So Tal had excellent feeling for center. And if you give him a good center, he is unstoppable. Okay, this is a whole line is playable. This is not the best move at the moment. Okay, at the moment, the standard move you can play the bishop c4 is a good move. Idea, queen f3. So this is giving this nc3 is also possible. White is better. White is better here. Small advantage to white. But in this position, c4 is not the best. But anyway, now taking advantage that the knight is blocking the h pawn, so h5 is unstoppable. Goes for the initiative. Now there is a threat on the pawn here. What should you do? You need to have a feel for position. Now, if you have not played h4 is different. You need to now press the initiative. See, there are choice. I can play c5. I can take the pawn, or alternately, I will come to knight to h3 and knight f4. Ignore the pawn. When you are attacking, do not make one to attacking moves and play slowly. Go with the speed. Knight h3 is a good move. Ignoring the pawn. You cannot allow the knight in b6 fracture. This is terrible position. It will be terrible. So the only move. And now b3. This is the whole idea. All white pieces are now coming. So it is time to open. Before black consolidates. Otherwise you will consolidate and a pawn up. Black has not castled, not completed development. Funny knight on h6. So this is the right time to open. This is on the way. This is now on the card. If you play some knight d7, it is not possible. You want to play this e6 break also after knight into d5. Find a plan. White is actually in a winning position. I would say it is a winning position. A terrific center. If the king castles also gets to mating attack, find a plan. Play like Tal. Hello, Morth Godani. Now the whole point is, I am going to completely give a horrible structure for black. So bishop takes. Why bishop takes it? Because all dark squares. After the knight is the one which is watching all dark squares. So bishop is powerful. So after bishop takes, all dark squares are uncovered. Okay, he comes that it is even worse. Now there is no guard of the dark square and they are very weak. No, there is a dark patches. You can say there are black holes. good positional advantage and also king position. So finishing. I want to queen. Queen should take the dark square entry. Necessary. I want to take it and enter h6. Very well. Just open the position. Actually, it is one has to see the strategy. There is nothing great on this position, but the feeling you have to develop. Just open. Queen into pawn will bring the rook into the attack. After queen takes pawn, rook is coming, followed by queen h6. Better resign. I don't think any defense is possible. F6 is not working. Defend. Queen attack. Now rook into queen is a threat, and queen takes queen into f6 crossing. So whatever you do, the king goes here is miserable. Knight check. So this resign. बच्चे की तरह मारा उसको. Was a master. Gilverstein was a master. But the whole point is the variation is very bad in this position. Let me tell you. Here, this is okay. Actually, the whole idea after bg7 d5 you will get a Karokan. So you can play here. Your position like c3 is a good move. c3 is a good move. After bishop here, bishop d3. Now after d5, e5 is coming. This is the play. White is better. The variation, how we get the idea, I will tell you. Let me say e4 c6, d4 g6. Now or d4 d5 here. Now knight c3 g6. Then white has to play s3. Knight f3. Then bg4 is coming. The threat is bishop takes knight and pawn takes pawn. That means this is the threat. So you have to pawn push. Now bg4 pawn into pawn. No big advantage. And you push. This is what he black wants. He will get a square at f5. And also here you don't have to do this. If you play here nd2, you have to avoid this variation. For example, now g6, I will play c3. Now you can't play knight f6. You cannot play. You have to take the pawn. So I am avoiding the move s3 here. So all these things stems from that variation. E4 g6, d4 c6. You should play here c3. This is the correct move. Idea after bishop g7 and d2, and now nothing better than d5. Your d5 or d6, that will lead to park. After d5, e5 is coming. So whatever you see, white is advantage. I will discuss this later. I have shown this earlier. Okay. It is natural. It is playable. c5 is nothing wrong, but it is better that that you play here castle. This is better. Now d4 will come. You play b6. Now e3, bb7. Now bishop d3. Now you can play d6 and d7. Just normal. That is how Kramnik played. That is how Anand also played. So Anand played some a5 move here after a3. Take and. But I would say that better to follow the Kramnik's pattern. This is the safest way to play. I will show that game after this. First, let us see what happens after C. This is okay. It is played in many Grandmaster games. Now he need to watch the knight. The many variations. The knight comes here with some threat on that seven suddenly. Okay, so you need to stop that. This is bad. Leaving the center. It was better to play. It was better to play BD2 and then A3 and then bishop C3. It is okay, but losing track of the game. It is not a King's Indian attack. In King's Indian attack, such a maneuvering we have seen, move the knight and storm the king side pawns, which does not fit this setup. Now black takes the initiative. Now black grabs the initiative. Actually, grabbing initiative is the most difficult thing in chess because you need to have a feel for timing. One of the best chess coaches, I mean, probably one of the best for Dostoevsky. He wrote many fantastic books and trained many strong GMs. Terrific coach. So Dostoevsky said once in an article, he said, it is very difficult for me how to instill in students' mind about grabbing the initiative, about developing an instinct. Why Fisher became so great? Because he knew the exact right timing, the pulse of the position to grab the initiative. So also with Kasparov. So now here ND4 he grabs the initiative. Now rook is ready. So just open the queen side. Take. Now a particular target has been created. This is what in his mind. Just note how he is going to continue. Of course, bishop takes you are not losing a pawn because take bishop c5 is coming. So he cannot take it on account of capture and bishop c5. So note that you cannot this is double. The knight has a problem. So queen black to play. You find a way to take the game further. Great player Tom. Hello NV. Hello Mukund Agarwal. So here he played queen coming attacking. You can't play b3. You cannot defend the pawn anyway. So bishop pawn into pawn. Black has managed to defend the pawn temporarily. Now the knight joins the attack. You have to defend his pawn. Black to play and win the game. There is no puzzle. It is like a strategic puzzle. The vulnerable points, you see the vulnerable points. The point is now the knight is watching the pawn, and this knight is watching the square, because I can take this any moment. I can take the any moment and check. That means when I play queen here, he cannot defend this point. Why? Because then he has to play b3. That will leave the knight. That means I can deflect the queen and do c3. After that, I will take the queen, the knight into pawn, and bc3 and knight e to check. It's all over. Or after queen takes c4, the position is overwhelming. b3 has to be played, and now knight into pawn. Played, only move, take. Only move, lost. Which he cannot take it, lost. The queen side is swept. He will wipe out the queen side. But anyway, I am not very much impressed about the opening part of the game. He has played the middle game brilliantly, but I would recommend if somebody plays the variation, the modern treatment here. Now queen c2, I would recommend to play castle. Okay. Maybe I will show you one game of Kramnik. Castle a3, bishop takes knight, and now b6. Here Anand had played some move like a5, so that after b5 he gets a square on the c5, he will get a square. So, but instead of playing a5, I would recommend to play simple move e6, d6 idea, just complete development. I want to just move. Knight comes, queen comes, then rook comes, and c5. Setup is very solid. White has not completed development, and black looks better center, better coordinated. So, he has not to play h6. No, in this position, no h6 is required. Next queen c, queen e7. Fantastic position. No tricks will work, and now black has already got counterplay. So, opening part I'm talking that there has been a revolution in opening ever since the Fisher era. It is Fisher started all that. Every move, some in every diagram, he found some new ideas, novelties. Now this is better than the Tal's part of handling that. No c5. Of course, c5 is played, but I recommend simply castle and just bring d6 and d7, bb7, and set up. Or you can choose to play Anand's a5 also. That is also not bad. Anand played with Bhanveli. I remember Anand played with Bhanveli only. Okay, so this is good. Very simple. Otherwise, I will take pawn into pawn, and pawn b5 counterplay. So takes, black stands better in center. Notice I do not release the tension. This will give a free hand. This will give a free hand to white. White will bring some queen c2 and return the bishop to c1 diagonal. So I don't want to get the tension. Black better. Yes. Hey, Venkatesan, congratulations to Bhavesh Bhai. He has become the vice president of All India Chess Federation. It's a good thing for Gujarat chess, and there will be a lot of good tournaments will come in future. Okay, so Tall is white, Larsen black. All this is main line. Everything is normal. Now this is a better way to play. I will show the game of Larsen versus Kurt Hansen. Kurt Hansen. Okay. So this is better move. Bad move. Still, bishop d7 is correct move. Standard line. It is not easy. After bd7, it is very difficult. The position remains unclear. So, a bad move. In opening, a player should make unnecessary exchanges, unnecessary pawn moves, especially in open games. Position is closed, एक move आगे पीछे चल जाएगा. But open game, no excuse. This is a crime in open games to make unnecessary exchange or unnecessary pawn moves, wasting time. So this brings white pieces to center. Okay, Larsen was actually a fearless player. He didn't care and played very sharply, but the position is bad. However great player it is. Initiative. Now ND7 is not working here. If you play ND7, bishop into, and now this is fantastic. Very big initiative. Big initiative. So he cannot play ND7. So he played ND5. Now bishop into, knight into. It is bad. Anyway, position is already bad. Knight into. Idea, now there is a serious threat. There is a serious threat. Knight into, and then winning the queen. But rook attacked. Intermediary move. He will take, but intermediary move. Perhaps this was overlooked by Larsen. The position is not defendable anymore. Not defendable. Because now the knight is anyway trapped, and now if you try to defend, then some bishop check will come, and bishop c5 will come. Now this is bad. Now bishop c5, and now if you play bishop check will kill. So this is probably overlooked by Larsen, and he tries to exchange, but it is all over. Now rook into knight is a threat. Bishop c6 is a nasty threat. Check. The only move, legal bishop. Take, queen check. It is all over. Should resign. Now let me tell you the whole variation. Let me go to the position. Kurt Hansen versus Larsen. He played there. Larsen, Kurt Hansen. It should be. I have kept the game. Grandmaster. Here the bad move was knight into knight. This was bad. But instead, Queen is no here he took knight into knight. Instead of playing knight into knight, bishop d7 should come. Now the idea is to take the knight and bc6. Black wants to play simply this and bc6 with pressure on center. So white avoids. This is okay. Now there is no problem. You black has to now stop the e5 move. Now cleverly this is not working now. E5 plan. Pawn into. Now bishop pair at good center. Of course pawn weakness, but this is okay, acceptable. Maybe this is not the best move at the moment. It is possible to play some b5 and queen b6 or a h5. So this is a bit risky. You can defend, but position is very risky now. Idea knight e4. bishop d3, rook. The position is okay, but it was not good to castle immediately. The improvement of Larsen, because he lost to Tal, definitely must have analyzed, and this is the best way I would say. At the moment, here he took knight into knight. This is a bad move. He should play bd7 and rook c8, rook d8. Fantastic. No easy plan. Or alternately, if you play bishop to f3, then I will take knight into knight, queen into, and bishop coming. This is okay, fully acceptable. Now rook e1. I'm going to castle. Sorry, this side. I will castle this side. There is no danger about queen entry. This is perfectly okay for black. All right. Where is that one? Here. Now you can also do castle. This is one of the popular lines. And after castle, and now you can play here game f4. Now if you play queen b6, knight coming to b3. Now rook d8, he can play a move like kb1. And d5 is bad. It was played in white Viswanathan Anand, black is Joel Benjamin. This is bad move because bishop into knight. And now pawn into pawn, he can take bishop into. Knight into is not working, and after queen into, the knight d2 is winning. Back rank problem. Now you have to play knight, but then knight b5, knight c4, and how are you going to protect the only move? Then knight b5 winning, back rank. That means at the moment, this is not a good idea to play rook d8 and d5. It is better to play a6. This is better. But in any case, white stands better. In any case, white is better. So here, I think I will go to that other game. This variation, another game it will come. Tal had a terrific score against Karo. It is because he faced Botvinnik in the World Championship. So it is understand we can understand that he must have analyzed and prepared thoroughly in many variations against Botvinnik. So he was very good when somebody played Karakan. He was playing very fast and correct strategy. Maybe lost maybe one or two game, I don't know. But terrific score against Karakan. Not the best setup, Pano Botvinnik. Now after D4, that it has become Pano Botvinnik attack. Now more modern move is to play Bishop B4. This is a more modern approach. Okay, let us discuss now B7. Castle, Rook E1. This is the main position. IQP, now white has got more open line and better center in return for the pawn weakness. The pawn is weak, but white has got good control of center. And bishop is watching diagonal. This bishop is watching diagonal. The knights are in center. Rook is watching center. So white has got sufficient compensation in form of open line. Now, obviously here black need to complete development. B6 is a ordinary blunder. B6 is just a blunder. Knight into D5 and black is in trouble. After B6 and D5, now queen into is bad because bishop E4 and queen C2. Pawn into is bad. Bishop H7 check. So the correct move here is to play bishop F6. This is the correct move. Now white can choose white can play A3. White can play bishop E4. Now still this is a good move. Not allowing the pawn move B6. Now I don't allow B6. I don't because B6 same combination. Knight into and bishop H7 and BD7 I am not allowing. He can play B6. Now black if now he can play A3 also. White idea the bishop C2 queen D3 etc. Now knight E7. Idea next move B6 and BB7. Then white gets when you get the chance you have the put the knight on center. I call Russian knight on center. E5. White stands better. Okay. In this position, this is bad move. Bad move. No, this is not okay. This is acceptable. With the idea, now the queen wants to go to D3, then bishop G5, RD1. His plan is simple and clear, direct. Idea bishop G5, idea rook D1, and then attack will come. So this leads to unclear position. B4 leads to a very unclear strategy. Here, B4, then bishop C4. White is better because of center control. White stands better. In the Anand Adam game, he had blundered here with some rook c8 and Anand won as white after b5. After b5, knight come, queen d3, he won the game. I think bishop g5 was there. This was eliminated somewhere. This is different because the mid threat came and he won the game. But here this is unclear. But in the actual game, he plays white stands better. Fully centralized. White is fully loaded. Two knights are in center, two rooks are in center. The bishop is an ideal place. This bishop ideal to take the main guard of the black king. The center control. Everything in white's favor. Now the point is the bishop remains because in many variations the bishop knight moves the bishop under attack. So the bishop is doing a dull job. If necessary, I can come this diagonal. And now as it is, I am also in good diagonal. Very well. Red only move. Now bishop is doing. There is no more job. The bishop is doing nothing here. So want to give a sacrifice right time. There are many plans here. Now he should have played knight. This is the strongest move and try to give more resistance. When a player is playing against isolated pawn, should exchange some minor pieces. So it will reduce the attacking chances of the white player or the player with isolomy. And the end game will be favorable for black because of the weak pawn. So knight a5 with the idea to exchange some pieces was deserving attention. ये खराब खेला ये. अभी as it is when there is a ये bishop or rook are watching ये sack तो anyway it will come. Then why weaken this point? Why you have to weaken this point after the move h6? This is bad. Now, as it is coming with a threat, not only a sacrifice, this is coming with a tempo. Too much, too much. खत्म हो गया. All over. Now, I will tell you, isolation it is we need to know. I think some player has written a whole book. I think this is there. See, I have this book. I think this book IQP. This is written by some IM. I don't know whatever he is written. So, his name is uh, Ripager. Ripager. You see, this is his name. Ripperger. So, a series of good variations he has given in that, and how to play white, how to play black. Okay, all right. I leave this. I will take you to the position. How should black play that particular position? Where I was here. Huh. Here, castle RE1. This is very important. Now I told you that this is plan. BF6 is there. Idea 97. So let's see one or two game I'll show you. Handling by Ivanchuk. It is difficult. I would say the players, black side player, who are the player defended against IQP? Anatoly Karpov, number one. Viswanathan Anand. Then Jan Timman. I mean the leading players I'm talking. They have defended the black side. Those who are Karokan players, Alex Sidri. So against Panov attack, IQP is coming. It is coming from 10 or 12 different openings. Sicilian C3, English opening, Nimzo Indian defense, some center counter, some Alekhine defense. English, this is Semitaras, okay, Karokan. So many opening it comes. Practically 10 or 12, I was counting. So it is necessary to have IQP knowledge. Now let us see handling by Ivanchuk. Idea is this is not allowing and this is a blunder. So knight. So this will allow the knight coming to e5. So we need not worry. Now it is not a good idea. This is bad. You know the c6 square. White will get a good game. So that's why just this complete development. Next bishop e6. Okay. If the pawn is free, if the bishop is in the diagonal already, then f4 f5. Like the game Botvinnik versus Vidmar. Botvinnik white, Vidmar black. Such a setup by black did not work because the pawn came. Here it is okay. So I will go to the next game, which is very more ideal. Modern game. So retreat is the best. Next b6. I solve the problem. Black's main problem is the development of the piece. Immediately it's a blunder, and after bishop here, you have to still play knight e7. That is why no need to waste time here. Here castle, just come back. Now b6. Solving all problem. Black has come out of opening. White position is marginally better, plus equal. Now he wants to prepare bg5. Next plan, he wants to bring bishop g5, then rook coming to d1, then queen e3, whatever create some weakness and try to attack. Fine move, wonderfully played. Now what the problem is, suppose you play mechanically. Let us say move like you play like move like a6. Suppose. Now this will give an advantage. Bg5, rook here. Now rook d1. The queen is ready for operation. Rook d1, rook d1. You need to fortify this point. White stands little better. That is why this is a good maneuver shown by Strasco. I think he was former world junior champion. I'm not sure. I think so. So after queen move, he plays good move. Now bg5 is not great on account of knight d7, ba6. So knight comes here so that I will coordinate the pieces. I want this is idea. This is an idea. Excellently played. Please make a note. Those who are playing against IQP, this sort of maneuver is very very important. Fantastic game. Black has solved all problems. There is no attack, and every exchange, black is going strategically better and better. Okay, next move I am going to come knight. You cannot drive the knight, and there is rook. You cannot be free also. The tactics will come sometime ba3. So this is important. So he exchanges. Better run. Now he has to attack the exchange of one minor piece has helped. The attack is not there. The knight on e5, white is missing. Okay, this is not a serious thing. Defended. Okay, these are all temporary. Exchange is exchange, nothing will happen. Now b2 pawn under attack. The material is equal, but black has the better game now. So please note, hello Horse Mehra, Kamsky Karpo 96 Alista from match is also good game for the team. Okay, I will have a look at it because I have not seen that game. Yeah, I have seen that game. Kamsky Karpo 96. Yeah, it is a very good, well played game. So this is a very nice maneuver and very easy to plan. Please note that this maneuver NB8. So after the castle move here, this knight back, b6, bb7, and rook c8, knight b8. Fantastic. I will give the move an exclamation. Solve most of the problems of black. So it is a 2018 game. Let us have a look at it. Horst Mehra says, I have seen that game. Karpov played really great. Let me see. Uh, Kamsky Karpov 96 Salista match. Uh, championship player. Next game. Yeah, this is the game, I guess. This is actually different position because rook is not e1. So, but anyway, IQP. IQP, every exchange only helping the player against IQP. White should avoid such kind of exchanges. Who said that? I think Albert said that regarding when Korsunay exchanged a piece in IQP against Karpo in the match. He said it is a cardinal sin. It is a cardinal sin to exchange pieces when you are having an IQP. Solid. Solve all problems. No more initiative. Anyway, it's good game. Okay. Paris Kumar back with vengeance. I like that. In the one movie he says, "I am back." Either Sylvester Stallone or that Arnold Schwarzenegger, some movie. I am back. All right. I think I sold this game to you. I guess I sold this game. Plus, I sold this game. It's a bad move. This is actually, blockade, but it is just a piece is unused there. Whole point is idea. Why the whole rook cannot come into the game? That means white queen need to come to this point where this move to here, and then the bishop is free. But it takes two moves. So once the queen comes, then bishop is waste of time. The e6 weakness will be problem. So after queen g5, then he comes, queen comes, bishop is coming there now. Idea rook double on the e line. So stopping plus minus. Mean critical game. All was in the top 4 5 in the table in the cross table. That means if he did short, he is very close to be now selected a candidate match. This is terrible. Winning position for white. But instead of that, you know, Tal, like his younger days, played this move. Now bishop takes pawn is not playable because now bishop takes pawn, rook is coming. When both rooks and queen will put pressure and threat will come. Now bishop takes pawn is bad. Rook double. Now bishop into pawn. This is winning after pawn into rook check. Now king any move, rook into rook. Too much. So this is just winning. But he has not to take. Why he must to take the pawn? Instead of taking, he played simply king. And now it is not coming. Now bishop move is there is no threat now. Okay. Now if you bring queen, there is no bishop is under attack. If you play queen, this is gone. End of the attack. Consolidation complete. Black is pawn up and white is failed, and now it luckily it drew. So it happens sometimes. Tal misunderstood many positions just for heck of tactics. In this aspect, this kind of bad things I used to do also. I mean, edge capture and checks are normal moves. So a positional player will not do react immediately. He will take his own time to capture. I mean, this one has to improve. If impatient players or coffee house moves, or you can say just mechanical moves. So in this position, in a winning position, after the bishop move, if you play bishop takes pawn, it is white is very strong. Notes by Tal only. Now Tal says here, see what Tal says here. Tal pointed out queen g5. Tal only showed queen g5 with the idea queen d2 bg4. Now I will show you a position which I have already shown to you earlier. Still, this theme is important. I will show that again. White to play. White to play. I have already shown you the move. Rook F1. How should white play now? Chess is very easy game if you know that when you have to exchange pieces and when you have advantage, you should feel the advantage. You should be aware of opponent's weak points, your own weak points and strong points. That's all about it. Once this is one part, and then you have to make a right plan and right execution. The position black is a pawn up, but it is a bad position for black. The double pawn, all weak pawns, all his pawns are weak. Suppose we bring the pawn to g3, black has better position. Or this pawn to g6, g6 is better position. But now all pawns are weak. He has a bad bishop. A knight is poorly placed. And more importantly, one aspect please note. What is that? More important, very important aspect that now queens are exchanged. It is a nearly end game is coming. When white is playing with one, two, three, four, five pieces, and black is playing with only two pieces. The bishop is bad, knight is poor, the king is not coming. This white king will come as a piece. It will come like a piece into the position. He will enter once the rooks are, one rook is exchanged. You cannot do with two rooks on the board. King enter, you may get mated. So exchange a pair of rooks so that the king becomes set. Now सर बन जाएगा ये बब्बर सर बन जाएगा अब ये king will become बब्बर sir. So in the game what happened? King, king. Now you need to see the counter attack is coming. The counter attack is coming. He is exchanging with the bishop into bishop, and the rook will enter. So, prophylactic move. Winning. This is what with the modern grandmaster. Actually, when I was going through some of the modern grandmaster game, as a coach, I only used to refer old games always. But now the modern games are also very interesting, and I find they're doing nothing, but they are using all the things whenever it is required. They apply that. For example, Dubo. For example, Razdabo. For example, Magnus Carlsen. So now there is a all a group of young grandmasters. So there I saw a game with who is that player? Epicinco, a very young boy grandmaster. Maybe he is around 13, 12, 13, maybe like that. So he was playing with dream, and amazingly, he was defending a bad position with a terrific maturity. So a player should be good in defense, good in attack. So they should be good in all kind of middle game themes and all kind of end game themes. Not only a good memory of positions, but you need to apply the themes right at time. Okay. So here this is winning now. Now white is playing with three pieces. Enter king. King. I am going to now go after the pawn, and the pass pawn will decide this. कुछ नहीं कर सकता ये. Nothing. हो गया काम. And now convert to a rook ending. King into knight into rook ending. Meaning white is very active. Two pieces are active, and queen side one pass pawn is guaranteed. So we need to know actually when you analyze your own games, you will find out what you are missing. I am discussing some themes, but that has to be applied in your game or the games we have missed. Suppose you analyze your past games in detail. Oh my God, I had active king. Oh my God, I had this pawn breakthrough and this kind of things. You have to analyze and keep make a note of it. Then you don't forget it. You work one day, 6 hours, your strength improves by one rating point. That is correct only. You know who is that said Grandmaster Tarzan from USA. He said that you work very hard, you are like one. That means in a year you become stronger by 365 rating points. So suppose a player is now 1700, he works for 2 years, he can become a very strong IM and close to GM. So I don't know whatever rating you are. I'm sure every day you work for 4, 5, 6 hours with good concentration. It will win quickly your title. Now Alexander Koto said he said I was not so talented, but I worked 18 hours a day and became a grandmaster. So you need to work and preferably do not work on the opening area. Only middle game and end game. Mastery. Opening can be played. Once you master the middle game, you can always judge this opening, this is a plus position, this is a plus position. So mastering the opening will come later only if you master middle game and end game. What is the use of opening when you cannot plan properly in middle game? What is the use of middle game when you cannot convert a one extra pawn in end game? So you need to have a skill in end game. You need to have a good understanding of middle game, and you need to have a willpower to win advantage position, planning, execution. All right, going to the next one. Some of the games I am repeating, but it deserves repetition. Perhaps here Queen B is bad. Here it is still this is okay. This position black is all right. This should be okay. Queen C7, but a bad move. Now we all know early queen moves are bad, especially for pawn hunting. So what should white do now? If my knight was not developed, I would have played ND2, BD3 castle. But now just queen D2. If my knight was not there here, I would prefer my knight at D2, BD3 short castle. But now queen D2, turn into long castle. So only plus. It is no written law, but one cannot waste three moves for one pawn. You cannot be underdeveloped. Instead of winning a pawn for three moves, black's castle and two minor pieces would have come. Instead, let us say, imagine he has made three moves, queen coming one, two, and badly placed. Instead of these three moves, one, two, three, he could have played some knight, and castle. The queen on d8. Imagine the knight d7, knight f6, and castle. Is okay. So bad moves. Another bad move. Four queen moves. The position we know it is very bad. White has castle, white has center. I don't know. I saw a movie many times. Lot of real life things and some movies I connect to chess. Imagination. Okay, let me not waste your time. Very interesting. But let me say this is bad. So how do we plan? We need to break open. The d5 break must come. Open, rip open the position against the king. You cannot do it right now. Right now you cannot do it because the c3 knight. So bring the rook. Wait for him to down. Now here's a problem. Now four queen moves. He is going to suffer. Now you need to create weaknesses. Since d5 is not coming and d5 is also not great. This is you will make d5. So you attack bishop to f4. Now the problem comes. Uncoordinated pieces. Uncastled. No. So knight cannot defend. Bishop f8 is miserable. I will play d5. e5 is miserable. So he cannot defend. Now white will get his much desired e5 d5 break if you go back. Take queen d6. What a brilliant sacrifice. You can take the knight, you can take the knight, you can take the bishop. Taking the bishop loses instantly in d5. Cannot take, check, and now cannot defend nc7. nb6 threat, nc7 threat, and pawn into this check. It should wrap finished all over. So you cannot take that bishop because of knight d5. Take knight d5, and if you take it, then Tal had the brilliant move. Made threat on d8. Okay, he had a stronger move. Here, it was better to play queen a5. This is bad, but position is uncastled king f7 attack. One by one, all will fall. But it was better than the game he played this horrible move and d7. And check, knight check, queen check, mate. Now check, 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 and now it will lead to mate. Only here it is a mate, and check, here it is a mate. Notice one thing, it is important. Small little details. Here, now the correct move. This is not correct. You see, execution has to be perfect. You get idea to attack, but the right rook. Why? Because the rook is controlling the b6 square. Here, you lose the control of b6 in the variation nd7. nd7 he plays. Now take, check. Now here he would have run away. If the rook was here like this, he will go to queen b6. Then king a7, king b6, king a7. So not only getting the plan, execution is correct. So here I will tell you. Let's say The position he played, now waiting. Rook here is waiting. Now you cannot open up the game. You need to be patient. For example, I need the d5 break. You don't play move like this rubbish move. So you should not lose coordination. There should be no traffic jam. There should be coordination. Be patient and wait. He played this bad move, a6 bad move, and then bishop here. Okay, what other move you want to do instead of a6? Now let us say he goes back. He says, I will go back. Right? Here, I will go back. Now, white has got advantage. How to plan this position? We don't have to do anything. First, get the pieces ready in the center. Okay, if I am white, what should I do now? What should you do now? Tal's opponent did not play this. The position is plus one. All you need very simple moves. I want my rooks. In the first, I want my rooks here. I want my rooks here, and then I want to place three so that the bishop does not come. So I need to think how to handle this position. Okay, let us have a look. I think I think rook e1 is the correct move. I don't want to stop the bishop. Let the bishop come. Rook e1 is the correct. Now let him double up. He cannot come. I am waiting for knight to come. Then e5 will come. कुछ अच्छा मूव नहीं है. And if you will play, then the collapse, sacrifices will start coming. If you will play here, the sacrifices will come. Okay, what can I do here? This is not good. If I will come, how to handle such situation? I guess we should just come bishop f1. Not coming in the way of queen, not coming in the way of rook, and this is not good move. So I don't see any kind of sacrifices because the position is clearly better. I don't want to unnecessary complication after bishop into knight into position. I come back. Now he has to decide what to do. Double up the knight. Okay. So this is important that you should always know that player pawn hunting is bad. These sort of things are just bad. In Sicilian, poison pawn is an exception where there are complication and activities there. But this sort of moves are just terrible. Black is keeping the option to play f5. So, martial attack. This is known as the martial attack. Now, this is passive move. After the blacks is no problem. So, a player should not play passive. So, bd to aggressive move. Take, bishop into takes. Now, taking the pawn is not a good idea. It is greedy and bad. After some here, I will play bg2, queen g5, knight e2. White stands better. Okay, I will show some two games for this taking the pawn. Now here you can play bishop a5, trying to create a weakness, so that you play pawn b6, bd7. You can go bishop f8, but these are sort of stunt move. वो नहीं मारेगा तो क्या है, waste of time. He will defend, then the bishop has to retreat. So bishop f8, bishop a5, bishop d6, bishop c3. The strongest move is bishop. Now I want to. The position is just bad or bad for black. Why bad? Because the bishop is cutting off the king position. So this is very uncomfortable. So how should white play now? How should white play? Hello, Ruhani Asudani. Amazing player, Tal. He founds. He many times he finds some imaginative moves. White is having a clear plus position, superior development, superior piece position, superior king position. Okay, no problem. Ruhani, no problem because these lectures are recorded, so you can always see the recorded lectures later when you are free. So Tal played this magnificent bishop d3. After bishop takes queen, he cannot take. This is losing. Bishop takes, and after this check is crushing. This is crushing. Overwhelming position. Two bishop, two knight, and exchange gone. So he cannot do that. He cannot. BD3, fantastic move. So he has to play, and rook into queen, rook into bishop also losing. Okay. So only move. Bishop into only move. There is no other move. Only move. Now check. Now there are at the moment both of material is equal because I'm white is go black. The one piece will go, but he plays another fantastic move. Knight into the rook on h8 is unprotected. The position is actually equal. Very difficult. The player should play the correct move is to play knight h6. This is the best move here. This is the correct move. Would have given equal chances. Of course, white stands better because white is a pawn up, but good fighting chances. After knight h6, here knight into pawn into is losing hand game. Pawn into knight is very bad, and now bishop g4 forced. Black has got counterplay. But instead of that, it is not easy. Human player find all correct moves, so he played instead of this bad move. Because knight here is better placed. But now he goes back winning. The point is now he has got rook and two pass pawns against two minor pieces. The point is rook and two pass pawns and better position. This is a theme in middle game. Normally, I am comfortable with rook and two pawns, but there are some depends on position. It is defendable. I would give an example: Karpov versus Hübner, 1977, Bad Lauterbach. I guess Vladimir Artemiev versus Magnus Carlsen, where Vladimir gave piece sack, rook and 2 pawns, and Carlson defended exactly in time. So it became a draw. But Vladimir had the advantage at him. So this is now plus position because black pieces are passive and no target for black. Rook and 2 pawns are better. This is a very important thing. Plus you just play normal. Start rolling. Now start rolling the pawns. Note, please note that unimportant pawn. Time in endgame is more important. Now here you don't play some P3, A3. Don't waste time with this. So quickly coming. Now knight into pawn is losing because bishop B1 and rook B7. Rook coming. Now knight into pawn is just unimportant pawn. Here knight into pawn you cannot queen the pawn. So at the moment bringing pieces very important. Knight into A2, rook here and then plus. So you cannot do that. Plus minus. Bad bishop, badly. Knight is also not good. And rook e7 coming. Now king should join. Plus. A theme. Rook and 2 pawns is a theme. About the dynamism, Fischer beat Spassky because he studied a lot of themes. It was told that 5,000 middle game position he studied before the World Championship 1972 match. 6 months of preparation. Then his teams they extracted 5,000 position right from Chinese about IQP positions, about rook and 2 pawn versus two minor pieces, about hanging pawns, about there are certain typical attacking setups. 5,000 positions. So you need to master the middle game, and then you pick up any opening. It will work well. This is gone. Okay, I will tell that some other time. I will tell you. I will tell you that story later. Okay, we have time. We have one more game time. So, avoiding Grunfeld. Basically, Grunfeld is not bad, but why? Because force now d5 can come. So this way he avoid Grunfeld. Now King's India. Semis not good move. This is first bad. The correct move is to castle and play pawn into pawn. This is the correct move. So I will show that one game. This is not so good. A passive position for black. White is clearly better now. Paulus was a great attacking player. Actually, it is a lot of fun when two attacking players meet each other, like Tal versus Velimirovic. Both players want to sacrifice. Both want to attack. So, but Tal is bigger attacking. It is like bigger dinosaur meeting a smaller dinosaur. Tal Velimirovic. Very interesting battle. Then you can see Tal versus Koblenz. His trainer was also attacking player. In one tournament, Tal played Koblenz. And since he was student and Koblenz got a very good position, a winning position, but he didn't want to win. So he wanted to just make some lousy move and repeat. But Tal said, I don't want charity. I don't want charity. He played and he beat Koblenz instead of ever making repetition. In another game, he made some crazy, some queen sacrifice, rook sacrifice with Koblenz. All right, let me discuss this position. This is now one-sided because there is no counter play. Because of the pin, now h6, bishop h4, g5 is bad, and pawn takes pawn, nd5. This is also bad. The position is just terrible for black now. Space, center, attack, and no counter attack. After c5, the position he has closed, no counter attack. It is just waiting for white to strike. Too slow. Now b5 is not coming. Already three are there. That means 1, 2, 3 are already watching. If necessary, the reserve will come. White has a free hand. Since the position is closed, the king is having no danger. You cannot open file diagonal to attack white king. So at the moment, this just start opening. No threat yet. There is no threat. तो कोई ने क्यों आया? Waste of time. Now desperation. He has been outplayed. Now Tal, Spassky, this is not important. And the role of bishop is now important. Notice he is not coming in the, because if you play some move and bishop c2, suppose you play, then the b2 point is not being guarded now. He may play rook b8 and queen b6 sometime. So why interfere in between? So no interfere. It goes back, but the attack will play now. I will play knight coming, just opening, and too many weak points he will strike. Open the h file, pawn f4 break, कुछ भी करेगा, कुछ भी करेगा. कुछ नहीं, अभी b2 can be defended, rook can come, so this is only weak point now on the king, so which he cannot do anything. One sided. Now again playing correctly. Now upon the h line, pawn into pawn h2, g7 threat. You are threatening knight check and pawn g7 h6 mate. So only move. Game over. Dark square gone. Open the file. Diagonal. See these games now analyzing this game. King's Indian is very rich. King's Indian defense is very good, but you need to understand what is wrong with black position here. He must capture. You know, here knight e2. You must pawn into pawn must come. This is bad. You must play pawn into pawn or castle and pawn into pawn. You can do here castle and then pawn into pawn or direct pawn into pawn. Maybe one game I say David Bronstein castle, and now pawn into pawn is necessary. This ND7 was horrible move. This is just bad. So this is bad. Pawn into, and now get a tempo knight. The threat is knight into knight. I am not giving him time. I want to take knight into knight, queen into, then knight into pawn will come. So black has solved development problem. Okay. Next, black, if you look at this position, after the move 10, look at this diagram. And Tal Talus, look at move 10. What happens? See, move 10, what happens? This is just terrible. No counter action and one-sided. So, this is how players have analyzed and found out how to improve this position. After the move here, we got bishop e6. Now, bishop into pawn is indirectly protected. Bishop takes pawn, knight e4 is coming, and queen check, I will take it. That means you need not worry. Knight is coming. Threat on c4. I don't care. Knight in d4 is there. And opened up. Counter play has come. You know, King's Indian defense basically came to limelight. Geller was chiefly responsible, Efim Geller, Grandmaster, to develop lot of ideas and showed how black can do counter attack on many white positions. I would give credit to David Bronstein, number one, Efim Geller, number two, and Tal. Then comes Fischer, Kasparov later on, stage by stage. So this is how the game now counter attack. Now bishop into h6 is not playable, only move. Otherwise, I will give weakness. Otherwise, I will give and pawn into pawn. The diagonal will open up. Fantastic. Already black has threats. Plus, everything is good now. H6 pawn cannot be played because of pressure on d4 and c3. Fantastic. Black is little better. Okay, so I will continue with the tal. Probably it will take another 5 6 sessions because so many games I cannot cover in 2 3. So many games of tal I have selected. So I'll see you back at 2:30 today for more games of tal. We'll continue. Thank you very much, friends. सबको मेरा नमस्कार. Take care. Bye. I don't remember the name of the movie. I will tell you later. I have to do a lot